for a while now that it was likely that there would be an attempt on Donald Trump's life. You know the kind of people that have been saying it, and you know the type of media that have been discussing the possibility. Perhaps in the immediate aftermath, what we can say is that there's a media environment of hysteria and hatred generated, curiously, by the rational neoliberal mainstream media, inflating the threat of Trump, demonizing the character of Trump, constantly associating Trump with hatred, escalating his...
Russell Brand's been at the forefront of understanding what's going on in the world lately. He always has great things to say. He lays it out very nicely here. Patrick Bet-David and the guys over at Valuetainment did an emergency podcast and had this to say.
All right, I think it's fair to say, America, if you're watching this, we were half an inch away from a possible civil war. The last time I looked up right now, there was an assassination attempt on the president was March 30th of 1981, if I'm not mistaken. March 30th of 1981, which was on Ronald Reagan. We just had an assassination attempt on the president probably less than an hour ago, give or take. They tried to character assassinate him. It failed. They tried to deplete his savings. It failed. They tried to do whatever they could to silence him. That failed, where he could only campaign once a week because it was Wednesdays. And there's only one attempt left. And we've been talking about them needing to double down on private military contractors to protect the president. But this man loves people too much. He can't prevent himself from being around the people. Rob, can we show the clip of what happened? I know we got a bunch of other clips to show you guys. But let's start off with the clip, Rob, that everybody around the world, it stopped the world. This one clip. Go ahead, Rob. Two shots at me from this side. Rob, do you have the clip of afterwards him getting up on a open mic saying, "Let me put my shoes on"? Is this it? He's bleeding right there.
Look at this boss.
Blood on his ear. You can tell. By the way, the cut is such a, you can see the shot like cut. You understand, like they missed him by this. By the way, that goes half an inch. You're done. Okay. I mean, it's game over. And so you get, Rob, do you have a picture of him actually showing the cut on the side? There's pictures of Trump on the side. I don't know if you have it or not. It's all over the internet for everybody that's watching this. There's a few things that we have to keep in mind. In moments like this, obviously, you're going to see fundraising go to the roof tomorrow. You're going to see types of money raised like never before. Within minutes of this happening, this is the first time Musk has ever said this. Musk tweets out, if you go to Elon Musk's Twitter account, Rob, just go to his Twitter account and look at his last 3 tweets. Look what Elon Musk, okay, with the amount of followership and influence that he has, he just tweeted this a few minutes ago. "I fully endorse President Trump and hope for his rapid recovery." Look at the number of likes in 36 minutes. 524,000 likes. Look at the number of views. 15 million views. This post by Elon Musk could go down as the most liked tweet of all time and the most popular tweet of all time. What we're watching right now could go down as a full-on, Adam just texted something right now saying the presidency is over, meaning Trump is getting elected. Mark my words, he just won the election. And I said, you have to be alive to win the election.
Pat really says it all. You have to be alive to win. It's really amazing to see all the people coming out of the woodwork to support Trump. I never thought I would see Elon Musk openly endorse Trump, but we live in some crazy times. If you think about what the pulse of US culture was back in 2020 during lockdowns, we're starting to see a true culture shift. People are fed up with the corporate media. Adam Carolla had Tucker Carlson on his show. Here's what they had to say.
They called him names. He won anyway. They impeached him twice on ridiculous pretenses. They fabricated a lot about what happened on January 6th in order to impeach him again. It didn't work. He came back. Then they indicted him. It didn't work. He became more popular. Then they indicted him 3 more times. And every single time his popularity rose. So if you begin with criticism, then you go to protest, then you go to impeachment, now you go to indictment, and none of them work, what's next? I mean, graph it out, man. We're speeding toward assassination, obviously, and no one will say that, but I don't know how you can reach that conclusion. You know what I mean? Like, they have decided, permanent Washington, both parties have decided that there's something about Trump that's so threatening to them, they just can't have him.
The recent event involving former President Donald Trump has elicited a wide range of responses from politicians, media celebrities, and the general people. As Carlson said, no one wanted to talk about the event that happened in the past, but it was so clear that we were arriving at this point. The incident happened during a campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, where Trump was speaking. This tragedy, in my view, has not only startled the country, but also sparked a complicated debate about political violence and public safety.
The assassination attempt on the former president, Donald Trump, last night was absolutely unacceptable and tragic. Lori and I are grateful that the former president is safe and, according to him and his team, is fine.
It's clear that political figures from both sides probably expressed their worries and condemnations. Governor Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania, a Democrat, was among the first to issue a comment.
Political disagreements can never, ever be addressed through violence. Disagreements are okay, but we need to use a peaceful political process to settle those differences. This is a moment where all leaders have a responsibility to speak and act with moral clarity, where all leaders need to take down the temperature and rise above the hateful rhetoric that exists and search for a better, brighter future for this nation.
In my opinion, as I said earlier, this is for the media. He's concerned about himself more than Trump. No way his sympathy would be that heartfelt. In the same way, Biden ran to deliver a speech. Needless saying what was in there, because it was all pretense. They've got nothing on Donald Trump.
I'm grateful you weren't hurt any worse, and I love you. We're supposed to play golf this morning at 8:30. I talked to him 3 times this week. There's a lot going on in the world. He was excited about playing golf. He thought he had something that could help my swing. All I can say is he's got 5 children and 5 grandchildren. He's a human being. There are a lot of people love this man. He's one of the most strong people I've ever met. He has an ability to absorb punishment like anybody I've ever met. Obviously, God is not through with President Trump, and I look forward to seeing him later this morning. I'll let you know how he's doing. But for the country, we probably need to do some soul searching as a nation.
It's soothing the way GOPs are for Trump. On the same day, GOP South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham on NBC's Meet the Press came out and poured his love for Trump. In my opinion, this shows clearly that he's the set guy for this office.
I think the world was a stronger, safer place when Trump was president than Joe Biden. But as you've been discussing this morning, the Democrats and all the way to the White House, President Joe Biden himself, they've been demonizing Trump day after day after day.
This Australian conservative political commentator, Chris Kenny, a commentator on Sky News, has shared his perspective on this recent happening. He asserted that America was better off during Donald Trump's presidency, criticizing Joe Biden for his perceived incompetence and describing his speech after the incident as irrational. Kenny remarked on the strong opposition Trump faced, suggesting that those who demonized him would have only been satisfied if Trump had been harmed.
I thought that was a disgusting statement from the president at such a time of chaos and concern for American democracy.
This is just it. Donald Trump got the wheels rolling when he was the president. He's only received hate from the ruling party. And it's so certain that, in my opinion, despite the event that took place today, Donald Trump is not giving up.
Obvious rooftop position with a clear line of sight to the former president. How on earth they weren't picked up on by the security services how they were able to get on the roof and mount a rifle in such vision and in such clear view of everyone and get to the stage where they can actually fire shots.
Also, in reaction to the event, an international security expert, Christos, delved into the puzzling circumstances surrounding a security breach during an event involving former President Trump. The conversation began by questioning how an individual managed to position themselves on a rooftop with a clear line of sight to the former president without being detected by security services. It's obvious that the person was able to mount a rifle and fire shots in such a clear and open view.
You know, when you're running the protection of a principal, one of the biggest concerns that you will always have is if you're taking them into open spaces, it could be out either singing, promoting, talking, you know, canvassing, whatever it might be, that wherever you have that event, you want to lock it down, secure it as much as possible.
Will pointed out that when protecting a high-profile individual, one of the primary concerns is securing open spaces where the person might be present. This includes ensuring that all vantage points, such as rooftops, apartment windows, and office windows, are monitored. In my opinion, the Secret Service, responsible for President Trump's protection, should have covered all possible angles to prevent such incidents. The fact that they did not raises suspicion.
Well, it really falls into one of two areas, Chris. There is either incompetence in terms of the security planning or collaboration or collusion in terms of enabling there to be a vacuum, a void within the security that could be potentially filled. I hope it's not. I mean, I hope it's neither, to be absolutely honest with you. But at the moment, it's very difficult to draw any speculation as it to being, you know, either one or the other.
Will said something fishy was around that event. He suggested two possibilities: incompetence in security planning or collusion, implying a deliberate lapse in security. He emphasized that it's difficult to determine which is more likely, but both scenarios are concerning. In my opinion, how does someone with such an object that will cause harm not be noticed in that public space? Other Republican politicians added to the drumbeat. Joe Biden sent the orders. U.S. Representative Mike Collins, a Republican from Georgia, posted on X on Saturday. There's no evidence for that claim. The Republican district attorney in Butler County, Pennsylvania, should immediately file charges against Joseph R. Biden for inciting an assassination.
We've got to turn the rhetoric down. We've got to turn the temperature down in this country. We need leaders of all parties on both sides to call that out and make sure that happens so that we can go forward and maintain our free society that we all are blessed to have.
Also, House Speaker Mike Johnson, a Republican, strongly condemned the act and prayed for a free society that we all had enjoyed. It's obvious that Biden's administration has brought only chaos, trying to pull down those who stand for justice, equity, and fairness. America's enjoyed peace since the similar event in 1981. We cannot be retrogressing as a country. Our democracy has to be restored.
Was a former Secret Service agent who happened to defend Ronald Reagan back in 1981 when there was an attempted assassination on Ronald Reagan way back.
Consequently, the presence of Tim McCarthy, a former Secret Service agent who defended Ronald Reagan during an attempted assassination in 1981, adds a historical perspective to the current situation. In my opinion, the recent event involving Donald Trump at a campaign rally in Pennsylvania is a significant incident.
Well, it's shocking that we're going through this type of thing again. Fortunately, it's an attempted assassination and not an assassination.
McCarthy made it clear on what happened. Media houses have tied this event to various things, but from Tim's first reaction, you can deduce what this is. It's an attempt. In my opinion, McCarthy's reflection is so important to set the tone of what just happened.
I did note on top of the building what appeared to be a Secret Service counter sniper team. Obviously, or possibly, they never saw the person. But those are some of the techniques you use, and you want to block that view. You often see with the president covered arrivals. So when he arrives somewhere, he goes underneath the tent, things like that. So you want to block all the views you could possibly have.
McCarthy expressed his shock at the recurrence of such violent acts, noting the rigorous security protocols that were presumably in place, including sweeping the area for explosives and weapons and using metal detectors. Despite these measures, the sniper was able to take a shot, raising questions about security effectiveness. It seems obvious that understanding how the shooter bypassed these measures is crucial.
Well, I can't tell you exactly right now, but I can tell you about protection for the president and any type of view of the president would normally be blocked, or you would be put in a position where they didn't have that view. So you rearrange where the podium would be, so there isn't a view outside of the secured area. Now, in some cases, it's almost impossible to do that, but that's why you have Secret Service has counter sniper teams.
Tim also highlighted the need for comprehensive security measures, especially given the increased threat of sophisticated weapons. Trump campaign manager Chris Lachivita said on X that Biden, Democratic donors, and leftist activists for years have made disgusting comments targeting Trump and should be held accountable. The best way is through the ballot box, he wrote. This incident raises concerns about the security provided to former presidents compared to sitting presidents. I strongly believe that the Secret Service must balance protection with the public visibility of political candidates. More congressional Republicans were more incendiary with their comment. Every American should be outraged at Joe Biden for inciting violence against Donald J. Trump, Texas Representative Keith Self said on X, highlighting Biden's bullseye remark. In light of this attack, it's expected that security efforts will be intensified for upcoming political events like the RNC and DNC. In my opinion, this incident is a stark reminder of the potential dangers in political life. It emphasizes the importance of continuous improvement in security protocols to protect public figures and ensure the safety of political events.